Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Today I wanted to talk about how to be the gray man or the gray woman. What does that mean? It means you're hiding in plain sight. If you're out and about, you want to just blend in and be practically invisible. So if a situation is dangerous, you know how to get out of it, and then people don't necessarily remember you. You don't stand out, and it can help you to remain safe. For example, if you've ever been in the airport and someone was wearing shorts, they sort of stick out because most people are dressed for it's going to be cold on the airplane or they're flying to a different place. So even if it's hot where you're leaving, it may be cold where you arrive. And it just sticks out that someone is wearing shorts. So that's an example of they're not being the gray man. You would want to dress to match what other people are wearing. Sometimes when you walk down city streets, you think everybody is just wearing gray and black. So if you're wearing bright red, you're going to stand out because that is different from what most people are wearing. So to be the gray man or the gray woman, you want to blend in with your surroundings. Do things the way other people are doing it so that you don't stand out. Nothing about you is that remarkable that anybody would remember that they've seen you. Why might you want to be the gray man or gray woman? Why would you want to blend in? What if you're out in the city streets and things become dangerous? You don't want to stick out, that maybe that would cause you to become a victim. You want to remain basically invisible. What if a protest or something breaks out? You don't want to be singled out, that you think differently, you act differently, you look differently, and then if you're blending in, it allows you to go with the flow and then peel off and get to safety somewhere along the way. Think of it like the salmon that are all swimming upstream together. If the crowd starts moving, something is dangerous, move along with the crowd until you can peel off and get out of there so that you're not in a dangerous situation. Whatever's going on in the situation, you want to behave like everyone else. You want to act like you belong there, you fit in, you're just part of the crowd, you're just one of the salmon swimming upstream. You're not going against the current, you don't stick out. If everybody is going one way, everybody needs something, you need to behave that way too, so that you're not a target because you are not behaving like everybody else. Some of the ways to blend in are to just wear simple clothing that are just plain colors without things like logos. Because logos, people tend to remember that, they look at them, they read them, and then they might even want to ask you about it. And so if you're in a situation where you need to blend in, you don't want to wear a big logo on your chest. You just want something that's plain and blends in. And then people can't say, oh, that's right, I remember seeing that guy with the whatever logo. You also want to be extremely careful about wearing any flashy jewelry, anything like that that could stick out or could be reflective and draw attention to you. You want to just be under the radar, just like everybody else. Nobody noticed you, and maybe then their attention will go to somebody else, something else, and that allows you to move around, do the things you need to get to safety if that is a concern at that time. In emergency situations, the idea of the gray man or gray woman is to avoid being remembered. You don't want to look people in the eye and draw their attention. You don't want to have lengthy conversations with people. If people start protesting, don't shout out with them. Maybe just nod your head, but don't get involved that anything you do is memorable, draws attention to yourself, or can make you become even a target. Something that I do if I go into a public place, for example, I went to a concert and I remember thinking, where are the exits? Everybody came in the same way. What if there was an emergency and we needed to escape? So while I was sitting there waiting for the concert to begin, I looked around. Where are the exits that are the opposite way of where everyone came in? Because that allows you to be safe. If everyone is stampeding out in one direction, you can slip out the other way. It helps keep you safe. You've seen how these events happen, that people then get trampled. And that's one of the ways that you can stay safe, is situational awareness, blending in, but then having strategies for how to stay safe no matter what happens. You also do not want to rely so heavily on social media. Try to remain more anonymous, under the radar. Social media, people overshare so many things about themselves, where they're going, what they bought, where their kids go to school. They tell too much. and it can really end up putting you in harm's way. So be very careful who you share personal information with. Someone once told me, if you're talking on the phone and you're in a public place, don't say anything you wouldn't want someone else to overhear, because people just hear you. They're sitting around and you're talking, you're oblivious to who's around you, and you don't want to give out too much information. Something I was recently warned about was how people will have petitions, and they'll be in front of stores and they'll want you to sign it and put your address down. And that can be a scam, because as they're putting your address down, they know where you live, that you're in the store, and then they can call someone to go and rob your house. You just told them where you live and you're not at home. So you need to be very careful about the information that you share, who you share it with, and what are the circumstances, that why do they even need to know some of that information. It's also a great idea to change up your routine. Don't drive the same way to work all the time. Look for alternate routes. Keep your eye out for new ways to get places. It helps keep your mind sharp and gives you options if you need to evacuate if there's an emergency or an accident. You already have an idea of another route that you can get safely to your home or wherever your location is that you're headed. Another way to stay under the radar is to use cash instead of your credit or your debit card. If you're especially buying, say, prepping supplies and you don't want anyone to know, if you're using cash, you're not leaving a paper trail of what you have, where you live, and giving that information away that we might want to be concerned about in the future. Work on controlling your emotions. You want to remain calm. You don't want to become overly excited, overly loud, overly embroiled in a conversation with someone. Control your emotions. That can help keep you safe. It can also keep you out of the radar of other people, and they're not going to remember, oh, that was the person that got loud and aggressive or crying over something. Then you are forgettable if you haven't been that person. Just look at social media. Everybody is now looking for Karen, somebody who did something that was overly emotional or argumentative, and then they're broadcasting it all over the place. So yeah, there's another good reason to control your emotions. Not that you would act like some of those people do, but you don't want to give anybody the opportunity to want to remember you, that you stood out for any reason. Wear quiet shoes. It allows you to walk down hallways and not be hurt. It gives you you can keep going and you're not going clomp, clomp, clomp. Have you ever had people around you with clomping shoes? It's annoying. Or the flippity flop of flip-flops. It can be annoying. It draws attention to you. If you have quiet shoes, it helps you remain that gray man or gray woman. The two most important tips that can help us stay safe in all kinds of situations is, number one, keep your eyes open. Watch what's going around you, but don't stare. Just sort of take a quick look, gather some information, and then keep it in your head. Remember what you've seen, what you've learned. How can you keep safe? What can you do? It gives you some choices and options to think about when you analyze the things that you saw. You also want to, number two, trust your gut. If you feel you're not safe, or if you feel somebody is not who they say they are, if you feel that maybe that's too much money to spend, there's all kinds of ways that our gut and our heart and our brain gives us a warning of how we should behave, who we should be nervous about, who we can trust. We want to rely on that inner soul spirit, that gut feeling that can help give you a warning when something isn't right. Trust that feeling. Don't shake it off. Pay attention to why those feelings are there and try to analyze, how can I make this better? What am I doing? And maybe I should pause and think about this before I make any kind of a decision. What tips and tricks can you share with us so we remain out of the radar, out of sight, blending in, and staying safe as our world becomes increasingly dangerous? I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might find it interesting, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.